Excuse me, sorry, do you speak English?
No, I don't, sorry.
English, do you speak it? Yes. English, do you yes? English, do you speak it?
Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of the Easy English podcast. For those of you who are listening, you can actually find this video on YouTube. And for those of you on YouTube, hello. This week I wanted to bring you a new episode of Mitch's monthly recap. And I'm going to go over through some of the things that have happened in January and maybe a bit of December, because we've all gone a bit doolally with where the hell am I at the moment. So right now I'm recording this from the French countryside, which seems like a good idea. It might start raining at some point. This seemed like a good idea to bring all of my stuff into the middle of nowhere behind this like rustic barn. Before we get on to our monthly recap for the rest of the world events that interest me, we have just announced our new learner membership, which allows you to get a 7-day free trial of some of our membership perks. If you go to easyenglish.video/membership, then you'll be able to get worksheets, vocabulary lists, and transcripts for all of our YouTube episodes for 7 days on a free trial. You'll also get access into our Discord server, so you can introduce yourself and get to meet other members and myself and Easy. If you enjoy your perks after the 7 free days, maybe you're thinking of upgrading to a video membership, podcast membership, or the conversation membership to improve your speaking and listening skills. Maybe this is part of your New Year's resolution to improve your English. If so, then choose us and we'll help you along your way. If any of you are into football, I recently saw that Saudi Arabia got the rights to host one of the World Cups in the future, which you would have thought after the whole Qatar catastrophe. It's a good title for the podcast, the Qatar catastrophe. Where it was sort of revealed that there were people basically working under like horrendous conditions, not getting paid, not seeing their family, sleeping in, not considering the wealth of Qatar, they were sleeping in what was essentially containers whilst they were building stadiums at 40 to 50 degree heat. Saudi now has it, which seems not so suspicious at all. It made me think of this word which was popularised through the Qatar World Cup, which is called sports washing, which is where typically countries or clubs or owners will do generous, nice, altruistic things in order to sort of look like they're nice people and for you to be like, oh, okay, I actually had a bad opinion of this person, and now they're doing this really lovely thing, but really if you look deep enough, you'll still find some heinous acts that they're committing at the same time. For example, Qatar. They were hosting an amazingly organised World Cup. In the background, there were people being treated very poorly, considering the wealth of this country. And Saudi Arabia, just, if you think of their human rights at the moment, when it comes to women's rights and to rights for the LGBT plus community, I forget the other letters, it's going to be very difficult. And more importantly, for the Brits, what they're not going to like is, again, not being able to drink alcohol. You think of the reasons that people might protest it, but we all know that the real, true sports fans that will be heading to Saudi Arabia will not be happy. I think my chair is slowly sinking into the ground. This is so funny. In like 20 minutes, I'll be like down here. So yeah, sports washing is a negative phrase, and it probably exists in other sectors. You could imagine like Prince Andrew hosting the next season of Bake Off in his house to try to clear his name. Someone's like baking a Victoria sponge, like, where's the flour? Don't go in that cupboard. The other thing I noticed recently was Mark Zuckerberg. What the hell is going on with him? Do you remember have you seen how he looks now? He's now a surfer dude. Or he's not being dressed by normal people, or he's just not dressing himself. I mean, he was already a bit weird looking. You remember him at the beginning? He had this like, he just sort of cut his hair like a person from Lego. And he could barely speak like, meta, and he was like, meta. Maybe you would enjoy meta. And he had hobbies. I like surfing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Are we listening to your every conversation over Facebook? Meta. And now he's a surfer dude. He's trying to assimilate. He's culturally appropriating humans. He's so weird. Initially, he looked like when you first play a video game, the initial character you're given, and now he's like level 2 when you're able to upgrade and give yourself kind of like nice clothes, kind of a okay haircut. You know what I mean? Now like level 3, he'll be like, now I have tattoo of Mike Tyson. What will level 4 Mark Zuckerberg be? Level 4 will be sunglasses. Mark Zuckerberg, sunglasses and the hats, like accessories, you know, like rings and necklaces and wristbands and bracelets. And then level 5, meta. Level 5 will just be like the singularity, you know, when he can take over the world, you know. I am meta. You are meta. Commence laughing. Arm down. Stop laughing. I'd like to review a film I watched recently, a British film, which is good for you to watch because it has some really good acting in it. Let me just see if I can load it up on this. I don't know how I'm getting internet from here. It's a British movie. It's also on Netflix, so you should all be able to get hold of it. And it's called I Came By. And the reason I'd like to recommend it is because some of the dialects involved in the movie are really contrasting, and they're both very well acted and performed. Let's load this up. Loading, 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 loading. Still loading. Loading, loading. Double loading. Sounds like Anthony Hopkins. I'm really sinking into the ground. This is crazy. The chair is like fully wedged. So yeah, I Came By is on Netflix, and so you should all be able to get hold of it. And it is it's played by Hugh Bonneville, which any of you who are into, what the hell is this place called? If any of you are into Downton Abbey, then you'll love this, because Hugh Bonneville, who I think played like head butler or probably the king, seems like someone who would play one of the royal people, not one of the people working under the house. And he plays the evil guy in this movie, which is great. He's really good, and he's very posh in this. A little bit like his character in Downton Abbey. And then George McKay, who you'd recognise from that movie 1917. He's like the main soldier in this World War I movie. He and a friend play graffiti artists who are kind of doing something like Banksy, but on an extreme level, where they're breaking into people's houses who are kind of rich, famous, and maybe doing suspicious or bad acts, maybe some sport washing, and they're tagging I Came By, and this is their sort of Batman logo maybe. The rain's coming. They are initially tagging other people's houses, like, I don't know, CEOs or hedge funders or things like this. And then they go to Hugh Bonneville's house, who's a high court judge, and they see that his family has some history, like colonial history, some negative colonial history. He lives in the same house his grandfather and his father both built and lived in. And then they go there and a dark secret is discovered. It is really good. Hugh Bonneville does a very good posh southern accent. And then George McKay, who I think is quite a posh boy, he does a really good kind of multicultural London accent. He's using lots of slang, lots of grammatically incorrect language. It's really good for you to watch, to pick up how British people, especially in London, really speak to you. This film is also just really good to watch. It's very tense, and there are some really unexpected twists and turns to this movie. It really just highlights all of these kind of... There seems to be a new genre, especially in horror, of like white middle-class man horror. You know what I mean? In the 70s, it was monsters. In the 80s, it was like creepy guys with masks, like slashers. And now it's just like humble middle-class white men who are harboring deep secrets. You know, like there's this new movie also out called Heretic, which has Hugh Grant, which is the most middle-class man ever. Do you know what I mean? And I've not watched it yet, but he must be like, oh, come in, golly gosh, have a cup of tea. Now I'm going to eat your brains. Yeah, Hugh Bonneville's in this one, and he's absolutely fantastic. It makes you wonder what's next. Like, what's like an unsuspecting middle-class white guy that can haunt your dreams? Someone like... You can imagine David Attenborough. Could you imagine that? That'd be amazing. Imagine if you're watching Planet Earth. What could his crime be? Watch as the fellow wildebeest immigrate from one part to the next and disturb the local inhabitants. You know, these things coming over here, taking our jobs, taking our land. Britain! Could you imagine? Yeah, whenever I start becoming older, more ugly and more middle class, then I'm absolutely up there to being as a bad guy in one of these horror movies. That'd be great. I feel like this podcast is sort of like the middle class bad guy podcast now. We've got Prince Andrew hosting Bake Off at his house, Mark Zuckerberg level 2, and I came by with Hugh Bonneville, and then blessed David Attenborough becoming toxic. Oh yeah, if he became like a toxic masculine guy, like, I don't think women should be competing in sports. Yeah, thank you for listening to my weird cultural ramblings for my monthly recap. As I said, this podcast is also on YouTube, so go check it out. And also don't forget to check out our membership if you're looking to level up and improve your English and become fluent for your New Year's resolution. Maybe you just want to join our learner membership and get a 7 free-day trial to get the transcript, the vocabulary list and worksheets for all of our YouTube videos. And if you're looking to improve your speaking and listening skills, then why don't you join our conversation membership, where you'll join myself, Easy, other conversation members in our online pub on Zoom every Tuesday night to improve your speaking skills. And then you'll also be able to join our Discord, regardless of whatever membership you join, and be able to interact with other English learners who are also trying to improve their English for their New Year's resolution. That's it for me, and as always, we'll see you next time. Ta-ra!